everyone. First of all, thank you, Escuela, Oficial, Idiomas in Arrecife, for another opportunity of having a lovely way of being able to share someone's story. And today it's definitely going to be all about stories. I'm here with Alice. She's going to be telling us a little bit about storytelling, and hopefully we'll be able to convince you about the importance of having a great story and being able to convey that story and use that officially to learn some languages. Alice, if you wouldn't mind just giving just a little brief introduction to the audience for those of you who don't know who exactly you are and what you're dedicated to. And then after that, we'll just continue with a few questions, if that's all right, and we'll have a lovely interview.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Alice Fernbank. I'm a storyteller from the United Kingdom. I came to storytelling about 15 years ago now. Used to be an actor working in the theatre, but someone introduced me to it. They said, I think you'd be good at this. You should come along and tell a story at a night I'm putting on. And I did. And it went down extremely well. I told a personal story about my pet guinea pigs. And the audience loved it. And I thought, this is great. I've got the gift. I'm going to do it. And then I started exploring it more deeply. I started working with others who were also starting the process of storytelling. And then I realized it was quite hard and that you actually have to do some work to get good at it. But over the years, I've developed, and I also started to realize I liked it more than the theatre because it's an opportunity to be the whole theatre, not just one piece of it. Mm-hmm. So that's where my love for it comes from. And I've been here on the island now, participating in the storytelling festival here, mm-hmm. Palabras al Vuelo. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah, that's perfectly, yeah, Palabras al Vuelo.
And it's an amazing storytelling festival. I was lucky enough to be given the opportunity to perform in a beautiful Lanzarote landscape mm-hmm. with a mountain, volcanic backdrop, mm-hmm. and I've had the chance to go to a number of schools here as well and share stories. Lots of folk tales I've been telling here that come from England and Scotland and Scandinavia. Mm-hmm.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, we could consider stories generational too, right? I mean, yes. we tend to share stories, and I think in the vast majority of history and human history, mm-hmm. We've learned a lot from stories from our elders, right? It's been passed on from generation to generation. Mm. A lot of it having to do with even ancient history and things before, writing things down.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing, and we should never fully stop telling stories, in my opinion.
I don't know if we can actually stop, because I think our minds are, humans have evolved that way. If information has been shared for thousands of years through stories, we're kind of programmed to receive them mm-hmm. and also to share them.
Yeah, I think so. At the end of the day, we're constantly creating information and processing information.
Yeah,
yeah. So I think there's no real way of stopping fully. Mm-hmm. But there always will be changes to how we kind of share stories, I assume. Maybe possibly it goes a little bit with how technology evolves, how society evolves, how mm-hmm. communication evolves. Mm-hmm. But I think the core principle here is that us being human, mm-hmm. We always have that kind of really wanting that curiosity to spike and say, I really want to learn about this person or learn about this story. Mm-hmm. Do you have any short story that you'd like to kind of like share to us? Anything that doesn't have to be related directly to this or anything that comes to mind?
I can share a story if you'd like.
I'd love to hear one.
Okay, so I'm going to share, I think I'll share a story with you that comes from Denmark.
Denmark?
Yes. It's from a collection of stories that actually my husband, who is also a storyteller, put together. It's called Danish Folk Tales. Mm-hmm. He came across this story in a very old collection, and I helped him transcribe it into English. And it goes like this. So there was once a man who had a forest and 3 sons. Mm-hmm. And every day of their lives, the 3 sons worked hard with their father in the forest. But one day the man, he became sick, and he was going to die. And he was lying in his bedroom, and his eldest son came into the room to sit beside his father's bed. And he said to his father, "Father, what is going to happen to the forest when you die?" "Ah, my son," he said, "you are going to have all the tall trees and all the short trees." And the eldest son thought, "Hang on a minute. All the tall trees, all the short trees, that's basically the whole forest. I'm going to inherit the whole forest." And as he left his father's room, he did a little dance. It was a short time later, the second son came into his father's room to sit beside his father, and he too said the same. "Father, what's going to happen to the forest when you die?" "My son, you are going to have all of the thick trees and all of the thin trees." And the second son thought, "Well, all the thick trees, all the thin trees, that's the whole forest. Father's giving me the whole forest. Woohoo!" And he too left that room with a little spring in his step. It was quite some time later when the youngest son came into his father's room to sit beside his father. He took his father's hand, he looked into his father's eyes, and by now the man was very, very weak. And he said, "Father, tell me, what will happen to the forest when you die?" "My son, you will have all the bent trees and all the straight trees." "Father, I will see to it that your wishes are fulfilled." But he too, of course, thought that that meant the whole forest. It was a short time later the man died. The three sons buried his body in the churchyard. And then they went to the solicitor to discuss their father's will. And that, of course, was when the arguing started. "Forest is mine," said the eldest son. "Father told me I could have all the tall trees and all the short trees. That's the whole forest." No, 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 no," said the second son. "Father told me I could have all the thick trees and all the thin trees. That's the whole forest." "Oh dear," said the youngest son. "Father told me I could have all the bent trees and all the straight trees." And he turned to the solicitor and he said, "What can we do to make sure our father's wishes are fulfilled?" "Don't worry," said the solicitor. "I have an idea. You must do exactly as I say. First, you must dig up the body of your father." And so the three sons went to the graveyard and they dug up the body of their father. "Now, you must tie your father's body to a tree." And so the three sons tied their father's body to a tree. Then the solicitor gave each son a gun. "You are going to shoot at your father's heart. And the one of you that hits closest to his heart will inherit the forest." And so the three sons raised their guns. And the eldest two were just squeezing the trigger when the youngest lowered his gun. He said, "I can't do it. I can't shoot my father in the heart, even if he is already dead." "No forest for you then," said the eldest two. "Stop," said the solicitor. "Put your guns down." He stepped forward and he looked into the eyes of the youngest son. "You have hit your father closest to his heart. It is you who shall inherit the forest."
It's a beautiful story. Wow, that deserves a clap. That's definitely a very inspiring story. Kind of shows you a little bit about human behavior, right?
Yeah.
And one of the worst things we have, which is greed. I think it's something that greatly affects us and sometimes affects our judgment, affects the decisions we make,
Yeah.
affects the priorities we tend to take. I love the double meaning with closest to the heart in that aspect, for sure. The father has to be most proud of his youngest son in this case. Another thing, I love just the way you were sharing this story. I did a little bit of theater myself, but not a lot of it. But I really love acting. I love just kind of sharing, communicating, and the way you would change your tonality. You would use moments of silence and pause. The way you would pick up certain speeds or pitch during your storytelling. I think that's extremely important. It keeps definitely the listener engaged and wanting to know exactly what's going to happen next. So
Yeah, it's very important when you tell a story.
Yeah.
Change
So
the pace, change the rhythm, the tonality.
So what would you think would be a great idea? I think I'd invite the audience to what if they try to create a story, maybe something similar to this one, or something totally different, and perhaps use that story to pick up maybe a new language. Since we're in a language school, I think it's a great opportunity for those watching to realize that you can learn languages in so many different ways. And I think it'd be great if you could share, even if it's just a short story, in another language. That would definitely be a creative way to learn some new words and phrases and grammar.
I think it's one of the best ways to learn a language. We tell stories every single day when
I
you're
agree.
just talking about what you did last night. That is, in fact,
It is a story. It is. It is.
A lot of people think they're not storytellers just because they're not
But we mostly
doing it
are.
on a stage. We're doing it all the time,
We are.
constantly. You're talking
Right.
about your childhood. You're talking about your friends, something that happened, your holidays, whatever. There's stories absolutely everywhere in all of our lives. And with a little practice, I think it's a great way to build confidence as a language learner. To be able to tell a story in a second language, it's hugely empowering. To know that you've been able to string all that information together and actually entertain too.
And I think not only just one story, but the best thing is to share your own story. So I invite you guys to share your story today. And I'd like to thank you, Alice, for your time. It's been a wonderful interview, and I wish you the best. And hopefully your story will continue on, and you get to continue sharing these lovely stories with more people. Thank you, everyone listening, and thank you, the Escuela Oficial de Idiomas, for allowing me to have the opportunity for this interview today.
Thank you.